Hello everybody, I'm Lisa with Living Life with Lisa, and on this channel we try to talk about living life to the fullest with chronic illness. And I promised to get back on here, and yes, I am in a vehicle, and this is my new one. I traded in my van for this car because it was getting too hard to climb up into the van. And my Mustang, though I love it and I'm going to keep it, and especially the boys are going to use it as a date car because they think it's cool. So, but it actually causes me physical pain after I've driven it, ridden in it. It's not good for my back. So, decided to get a real car because I can get in and out of this without having to climb and without having to dip down. So, it was hard to find a car though, because they keep telling me that they're, I forget what the word is, getting rid of cars, that they're not gonna keep making them. And I think that's crazy. We all need cars. It's used, but I really like it, and it serves our purpose. I mean, pretty soon we're gonna have 2 drivers, and with my dad, I'm the proud owner of 5 vehicles. Whoa. And so, no, I didn't get the video up yesterday. I got what happened instead. That was quite the day yesterday. It scared me to death. Adrenaline, oh my gosh, the things we can do with adrenaline, they should put that in like a pill form, because man, I don't think I moved that fast in a long time. But I was just in a panic, absolute panic. What happened was, Randy had gone to the dentist yesterday. And I have to tell this whole story because it's the only way that the whole thing makes sense. But he went to the dentist yesterday, and he had to have 4 teeth pulled. 4. And then and then they put braces on his teeth. And so while he was in there, I got fitted for retainers, functional retainers, because that gap here looks like I lost a tooth. I did not lose a tooth. All my teeth have shifted over. And so I can feel the pressure. It feels kind of hurts. It doesn't hurt, but it's just like there's a constant pressure going that way. I'm wearing my No Regrets merch, by the way. And so, anyway, so I went in there, and while they were finishing up with him, they did impressions of my teeth so that they could order the retainers, and then I'm going to pick them up Thursday, I guess. And so we'll see if I'll be able to talk with them. But anyhow, so we get out, or he gets out, because I'm done. It doesn't take very long to do that. He goes outside the car, and they gave me extra gauze for his 4 teeth that were pulled, for the gums where they had been bleeding, and the bleeding wasn't too bad when he walked out. And so I went to pay, and there was a problem with the debit card, and so we had to switch some things around and rerun it differently, and it worked that way. And so then I started out the door, and I turned around and went back because I forgot his packet with his toothbrush and toothpaste that he's supposed to take to every appointment, and the stuff for the gauze and whatnot for surgery, or his teeth extractions. And so I get out in the car, and he's sitting here in the driver's seat, and he's playing his music, and his mouth is completely numb, and he doesn't realize that he is drooling blood everywhere. There was blood everywhere, not in the car, but on him. And I opened up the door, and I said, "Oh my gosh," I said, "you're bleeding like crazy." I said, "Don't move." I said, "I'm going to go get something to clean you up." And so I went inside, and I said, "I need some help because he's broken loose in the car, and there's blood everywhere." And they said, well, just bring him back in. And so I took him back in, and they cleaned him up and put some more gauze in, and we started home. We got home and pulled in the driveway and pulled in the garage, shut the garage door, got out. We went in the house. I changed his gauze out because they could only be in there 3 to 5 minutes. Changed the gauze out. He went downstairs to play Xbox. I filled up my water cup, and then, I had to go to the bathroom. And so then I went to the bathroom, and then I came back and realized I didn't have my phone. So I had to go out to the garage and get my phone. And finally, after all that, I went in and I sat down on my chair, and the red chair that I sometimes used to do vlogs from. And I heard this scratching noise, and it sounded like an animal that was caught in something. And I thought, I couldn't think of a dog or cat or what the problem was. And so I stood up, and we've got 2 doors right there. The couch is kind of in the middle of the room. It makes a hallway in the back to go into my room and into what's the pantry, but it's really supposed to be an office. It works as both. It is an office and a pantry. And so, not my office. Randy took it over. But anyway, so as soon as I got behind the couch, I could tell that that horrible noise was coming from my room, and it was just getting louder. And I opened up the door to my room, and I had the curtains closed, and I thought there was a bird like slapping up against the window. And I went over to scare the bird away. And when I went over to scare the bird away, I opened up the curtains, and there were flames all the way up my window, up above my head. And my first thought is, oh my gosh, this is really happening. And I ran. I do believe I ran. I ran to the basement door, and I opened up the door, and I yelled, Randy, the house is on fire, get out. And he was up the steps in no time. I mean, I couldn't, hardly any time did that happen. And so, as he moved that fast upstairs. And so, he grabbed the fire extinguisher, and we put we have 2 fire extinguishers, and one is where we keep the recycling. And it's just sitting there. It's in the laundry room, and it looks unassuming. It looks like we're trying to throw it away, but we're not trying to throw it away. We leave it there. And one of my caregivers wanted to put it somewhere one time, and I said, no, we need to leave it there because everybody knows that it's there. It's just one of those things that everybody knows that it's there. And then we have one in the kitchen that's on a regular hook by the stove. And so, I said, you get out of here, and I'm going to call 911. When he grabbed the fire extinguisher, I said, grab the new one, too. The new one was in the kitchen. And so he pulled tabs in the house, because later on we found the tabs in the house, and I thought we'd probably throw those away. And so I went out the back door trying to get animals out the house, and I only got Star and Lucy out, and nobody else would follow me. And Cat went into hiding. The other dog, I didn't know where it was at, and I knew it wasn't with Randy. And frankly, I forgot about the ferret, but don't tell Randy that. But I didn't even think about the ferret. So I went in the back, and I pushed Siri on my phone and told it to call 911, and so I called emergency services. And I mean, I'm screaming into this phone call because I'm in a panic. I'm in an absolute panic because the house is going up like a tinderbox, felt like. And I said, just hurry. And then I gave him the wrong address, and after I said it, I said, no, that's not where I live. I left some numbers out of I have 5-digit numbers for a house number. Yeah, I live that far out. We have 5 digits. And some people can't believe that. But anyway, I only gave her 3 digits out of the 5. And so I had to go back and give her the rest of them. And told her, I said, hurry. And she said, well, is everybody out of the house? And I said, yes. I said, but we got a dog and a cat still in there. She said, well, don't go back in. We'll get it. And I said, okay. And so I went, tried to go through the garage because I was going to open up the garage door and then cut through to go to the front yard where Randy was. Well, when I went in the garage, the power was out. And I thought, has it burned so much that it's knocked the power out? And it was my first thought. And so, actually, one of my very first thoughts after figuring out that it really was a real fire is, how do chickens start fires? They don't play with matches. I mean, I couldn't figure out what was going on. So, I ran around. We have a gate. And I ran around and got around to the front of the house where it was at. And he just texted me. Ran around to the front of the house where Randy was. And he had already used up the fire extinguishers, which was like peeing on fire. But then he had the garden hose. And he had the garden hose. And he had the fire under control by the time I got there. The scratching I heard was my bedroom window breaking. And so it was hard to see. I put the last video I put up, I took down for a little while, and then I put it back up because I thought, you won't know what I'm talking about in this video if you don't know what I'm talking about. So that we had 2 coops. And so the one coop was in the way. We couldn't see. He had to stand on the porch with the hose because the hose wouldn't fit. And I said, put it up high. Don't let it get to the roof. I don't want to get the roof on fire. And so he's doing that. And every time he would go someplace else, flames would come out behind the siding. And I said, you better just keep it on the house because there was some stuff burning on the other side of the coop that we couldn't see exactly what it was. But I went down there and it was their food, the bucket that their food was in. And I said, just step on the wall so that get the house out. And then we'll worry about the bucket. And so I heard sirens and I looked and there was a state trooper coming. I didn't know it was a state trooper. I saw the lights and then a white vehicle, and I assumed it was the ambulance. But I thought, why are they coming from that direction? Because they're supposed to come from that direction, not that direction. And so it turned out to be a state trooper that's also a neighbor. And he introduced himself after it was over with. But he must have been on his way to work because he just lives like a block from me, a county block from me. So it's probably a mile and a half. And he had on full uniform. And so he heard the call and he stopped and pulled in and parked at the yard and at the edge of the yard and ran up to the porch. And he said, we had the hose caught, but we didn't realize it. And he said, hey, buddy, let me see that and see if we can't make this hose longer. So he grabbed the hose and he ran as fast as he could around and came up the ramp and the wheelchair ramp and went across the porch. And he was taller, so he was able to like keep spraying it. And I stood over there and told him what he was spraying. And then I said, the only thing left is that bucket. And he said, am I close? And I said, yep, you're right in it now. So he just sprayed it until the bucket was done. The fire was done from the bucket. About that time, one of the firemen got there, and they had called in four fire departments. I tried to call in a 5th one, but the 5th one was out on call. And so when he got there, he canceled everybody but the local one because the fire was out at that point. And so they came and they stayed for a while and they tore out some of the soffits and they had to put a fan up in the attic because there was smoke up in the attic and they had to blow it out. And they have this thing that's really cool that they can measure temperatures like a camera, but it tells them how hot or cold everything is. And so they went inside several times and checked because the other side of that burnt area is my bedroom. They went in my bedroom several times and felt with their hand and also used that tool to check it. They checked up in the attic. They checked all outside, and they didn't leave until everything was 70 degrees. And once it was 70 degrees, they knew that there was no more fire left. And so they left. And Randy's mouth bled for hours after that. And I called the dentist, and I told the lady, I said, he's still bleeding, but it's a long story. I said, our house got on fire. And she said, well, that's why it's still bleeding, because his heart's pumping so hard that blood's got to go somewhere. And I said, well, I have gauze here. We are able to stay in the house, by the way. It's all cosmetic. There's no structural damage. We are safe in the house. The only thing is I got a broken window, but instead of it being 2 pane, it's 1 pane, which is okay, as long as we don't get a strong wind to finish it off, because it's cracked. I might ought to board it up if it starts turning really winter, because right now it's not really winter. Too bad. And she said, well, that's what it is. And then she said, hey, you're the house. And I said, I don't know if I'm the house. And she said, because I didn't know what she's talking about. And she said, I went home for lunch, and my husband's a volunteer fireman for Bremen, and he got a call. There was a call that came over the radio for house fire, and it was your address. I just realized that it was your address. And I said, yeah. I said, it was a good thing that we left when we did. And I got to tell you, regardless of what you believe or don't believe, it was absolutely God on our side. Because if we had left any later than we did from that dentist office, it would have been fully engulfed before we got home. If it had happened when I was there by myself, it would have been a whole lot of damage. Randy's definitely the hero in this story. And I've told him so too. And the whole family knows. Also, if it happened at night, I don't know that I would have woke up. Or if I did wake up, would I have had the sense to know what to do? I don't know. Or would I have been trapped in the room, by the time I realized it? I don't know. There's so many could-haves that it happened the very best way it absolutely could have worked. Because that was the only way that we could have that fire and not lose the house. Is the way that it happened. And so we are happy that everything is okay. The insurance is going to cover it. I'm sure my rates are going to go way up after this, but I tell you what, I don't know. On top of my dad, on top of the holidays, on top of this yesterday. Yesterday we were seeing the silver lining. We hadn't lost anything. We were doing great. And so today I woke up and my first thought was, what did I do? What did I do to cause all this to start happening? But I soon got over it. And so just a light malfunction outside the chicken coop. That's what caused the fire. And they figured that it must have somehow got in with the bedding and caused a spark and started the fire. So we're blaming a lamp or a light. I'm 100% positive that's what it is. The fire department's already declared that's what it is. So, and insurance has already declared that's what it is. So that's what it is. And we're down to 1 coop, and that's okay because we're only down to 4 chickens. We did not lose any chickens. The only damage was the house and a little bit of the house, and it's all cosmetic, and I'll be taken care of. It can all be fixed. There's, nobody was hurt. Luckily Randy got to shine. Thank God he was there. And so remember, just do what you have to do the best you can, do all you can, realize limitations, but try to be okay with them, and live life to the fullest, live life, no regrets, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.